Welcome to another episode of Peak Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Sanford. Today we're joined by Lee and Ben Cossey. The Cossey brothers are two of Australia's best rock climbers and have been so for decades. And they're not juggling family life or working as physiotherapists right here in Move Clinic, where I'm currently sitting. They're out there climbing the hardest rock routes in Australia and making it look relatively easy. So looking forward to sharing their stories with you, and I hope you can get something out of it, as I will. Let's get into it. Thanks for joining me today, boys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for sitting down and having a chat.
Looking forward to sharing your stories. Can you tell me when you both first started climbing?
I started a little bit before Ben, probably 2 years, when I was probably 12, I think. My uncle climbed and I just loved the idea of it and would sort of scramble around in the bush. I don't know, I just imagined myself climbing. That's what I remember from that time, is just kind of imagining myself like being a climber, climbing up these big cliffs, and I had no idea really what the reality of what was about, but I think I had mental images from things like movies and stuff. I'm like, somehow that became the thing I wanted to do. Yeah.
And Jamie had done, that's our uncle, the guiding course, hadn't he?
He had, yeah.
Dave had that painted spider. So there's little whispers of it in the background.
Yep.
In the years prior, probably.
Yep. And, little bits of Hollywood movies and what's his name? Clint Eastwood in Eiger Sanction and stuff like that. Yep.
Very good. And how about you, Ben? You started?
I started a couple of years later when school did school sport and you have an elective, and I chose go-karting as my first choice, but then that got cancelled. But as it happens, the climbing was in the same complex, and Lee climbed, so I thought I'd give that a crack, I guess. I had maybe done a bit of scrambling here and there prior, but that's when I kind of started climbing, I guess. Would have been about 98 or so. Way back in the day, I remember Lee had magazines with John and Trin 2 on it, and I remember poking holes in it with a
it almost seemed like you didn't like that I had a passion of
No,
initially.
I think I just liked doing that to pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Jabbing holes in it. And I remember asking you, what does 510 mean on your shoes? And you said, that's the brand.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant.
I probably didn't know what it meant either.
Can you guys tell me about some of your craziest adventures together, and also separately if you've got some?
Well, I think it'd be interesting just to see. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what Ben defines as adventure in a way. Like, is adventure there's a stereotypical kind of idea of what adventure is, and then I don't know. For me, I feel like the term has changed a little bit, but
Yeah, I think it's overused.
Yeah, almost to the point where I feel, I don't know if I've ever had an adventure.
I wasn't Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not Ernest Shackleton, so I haven't had an adventure. Next question. No, I'm only joking. No, I would say probably maybe the first one was like when we went to try and ground up Lord Gumtree. That was that, and that's why I'd say, I haven't really done an adventure, but as an example of that being a bit bonkers is that there was no real danger of it getting done, that at least by me that time, because it was so dirty, and I just hadn't done anything like that, and I had my testosterone, like I was just so poorly equipped, new for anything like that. But that felt like an adventure in retrospect. Kind of just an adventure is maybe something jumping in the deep end and not succeeding.
Putting an idea out there that you actually don't have a lot of information that can help guarantee success.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe for me that specific time on Lord Gumtree was a bit the opposite in a way, because I'd been there the year before on Ozymandias. And I'm like, all right, well then I know what this whole thing is about, and let's just go do 4/28 in a route instead of like 2. But I always struggle with that kind of concept. But for me, I don't know, doing Echo Crack with you the first time, that was definitely
That you led it or that I led?
Well, no, there was, I think when I first led it, I led it with you, belaying,
and then snuck me down there unbeknownst to me.
Oh, sure.
Do you remember?
Oh, I didn't
How does
remember
that
that. No.
You're just asleep.
Well, we went to Echo Point and I was too scared to even contemplate doing it. But Lee was like, well, let's just walk down to the bridge and we'll see how it looks.
With
So
our
walk
packs
down
on.
with the packs on. Walk down to the bridge and say, oh, it still looks like the worst, if anything.
Looks horrific.
Oh, well, let's just walk down to the track and we'll see how it's like. It might be dry. We'll just scope it out. Oh, we'll scope it out. And then let's walk up to the base. Can't really see it too well from here. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I guess so. Let's walk up to the base. What's that tie in? And ha, gotcha. And we're on there.
I totally forgot about that. I really didn't remember that, but it makes complete sense now. But yeah, obviously, I think on that day I led every pitch, and for me that was an amazing adventure. Like, you know, doing it with a single rack of gear, which, like, if anyone who's done the route would be like that would seem crazy to do it on a single rack where you've got
That's how I did it.
Yeah, one
afterwards.
Well, of course, you were with me.
Yeah.
You have one appropriate cam.
Instead of Vince had 9 number 3s apparently.
Yeah, and then I think the next season, all right, you did that. You had a great time. You go and lead both pitches, and yeah, I think those things feel like adventures. Yet, you know, they're really just like ticking off the classics. And maybe that's the thing. You have some of the biggest adventures when you're working through the grades, and maybe climbers and people's behaviors change as they become more experienced for lots of reasons. It's harder to have an adventure, and maybe they've, their wisdom like almost makes them reluctant to seek it out, possibly. Like, they know what they're in for, so they're like, how can I go about this objective in a way in which I can kind of have more guaranteed outcome? And yeah, maybe I think that, unfortunately, like with the drive people have to try and create media and content and headlines, like, adventure is the last freaking thing people are seeking a lot of the time. So maybe you should do an adventure like interview with some noobs. They know what it's really about.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I would say it's different these days. An adventure would be a bit more pre-packaged, maybe wrapped down, chalked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'm yanking my own chain, but.
But again, it feels so far removed from what I feel like have been my most adventurous experiences.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, I'm like actually personally accountable for my safety right now, and I have to draw on everything and anything and keep myself cool in the moment here. And usually I got off route as well. Different times, but yeah.
Have you got any particular examples of just questing off route and getting super rattled?
Yeah, for sure. And I think maybe I think we all become like a product of like our formative experiences. And I remember one particular experience at Bungonia. It's my first time climbing there. We went to do Route Evolution, which I'd seen in Simon Carter's first coffee table book. I thought, oh, that looks amazing. Limestone. I want to climb on limestone. Like, that's what Europeans have. And so we went to climb this 7-pitch grade 24, me and a mate Keith. And I was definitely the stronger sport climber. So I got to do the harder pitches and be the one that sort of did those. But then at the top, we had no topo. There was no topo. We walked in with John Fantini and he pointed to where it started and he went off and did his thing. We got up to within a pitch of the top of the wall. And all right, well, we're going up. That's where the route goes. And I see 20 meters away a fixed hanger. So I climb toward it. There must be gear. That's not where the route goes at all. That was where somebody hoped the route would go. But yeah, 45 minutes later, through lots of like just, putting it together and making it work, I managed to free the pitch. Dusty, super run out, like creative gear placements. Got up to the bolt, clipped it, did another crux beyond that, topped out. I'm like, oh my God, I must be smashed because that is by far the hardest 24 I've ever onside in my life. That's cool. And it was only like a season later that a friend went back and did the route. I'm like, yeah, we did it. It was really good. You didn't do the route though. Like, the route goes left. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. But so an experience like that where you're really you learn how you operate under pressure and in a really high intensity, somewhat kind of scared, but there's too much going on to really be scared. The fear is really just
There's no point.
yeah, it's an input that you kind of like, okay, I can take that fall. I know I'm okay, so I'm going to like commit to this sequence. It's 24, so I'm all right.
Allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, rising to that occasion and, overcoming the adversity of it, that shows you what you can do and helps, I guess, create a broader picture of what who you are as a climber and what you can do. And, you can start to kind of, draw on that a little bit more, learn from it. That was definitely one of my earlier kind of formative adventures, for sure.
Yeah. Did you guys do echo crack at night on wooden chocks barefoot, or is that a myth?
I did that.
They did that. Yeah. No, I wasn't there. No, I might have been in England.
You were still in England, yeah. That's a good example of like deliberately seeking something that would be an adventure, because like, how can we? And so what happened the day before? We've been sport climbing at Diamond Falls with a friend, Laurie Dermody, who I was going to Yosemite with. We're like doing sport climbing, which is obviously what we'd spend most of the time doing. Like, all right, we're going to Yosemite. We should go do some of these sort of trad routes around the mountains. So we did Samarkand in the afternoon, evening after Diamond Falls, and that was a bit anticlimactic. He wasn't very impressed. Oh, that's a shame. No, it was like super chill. It was just mellow. And I'd never trad climbed with him, so I'm like, okay, he's quite experienced. He's already been to the valley. All right, well, okay, let's do something that should be like a bit more exciting. Let's do this other cool route, Echo Crack. But we need to definitely spice it up. So I'll make some wooden chocks, and we'll do it barefoot.
This is timber, like from pine building timber.
Yeah.
So shit wood
Real
as well.
shit, yeah.
I've got one still.
Yeah.
It's like not good
Yeah, it was
quality.
a piece of timber. I also cut it on a bit of an angle just so that like it would be larger with a bit of rotation. Yeah, and then offset the kind of hole which I put some sling through so it would kind of deliberately cam. Because I couldn't just use nuts. I thought I would do it in nuts, but just so we weren't using cams. But they obviously don't make nuts like
That big.
fist size.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being a proper adventure.
But they snuck shoes in.
We roped in. So you roped in another friend, Andy, who did sneak a pair of shoes in. Laurie went up and got maybe not super far, like 5 meters. Is like, this is just fucking crazy. And then Andy had to go, and then it's like by about 11 p.m., 12 p.m. I thought, oh, cool, I get to have a go. And I was just like so psyched watching him. Like, I was itching to get up there and had to go. And then, and then just like the first of the crux pictures, like just like, this is freaking fantastic. Like just in your own little orb of like head torch light, smearing, like feeling the sharp sandstone cutting the tops of your foot, but just somehow like feeling like, it's like it just not feeling. It's not painful. It's like this is just a joy, and that is just it's a special place to be. Like it felt very safe because like I could still make these cams, these kind of blocks of wood work.
Do you ever load them though?
I didn't. Oh yeah, when you pull it in, and I think the being safe is like it's more than just like, could I fall here? It's like, could I fall on that? It's more like it's every single move is like an assessment of safety. And it's like, at no point did I feel unsafe on that, which is also just a cool feeling of like mastery and like bringing things together, as I was saying before. But yeah, it was definitely a number of years on from that experience in Bungonia. And yeah, I don't do a lot of that stuff, but the moments that I do it, it just, it feels nice because for me at least, it's an expression of my skill set that is hard to play with.
Yeah.
It's hard to have a canvas for that. Yeah.
For sure. Do you have any moments like that, Ben, where you've just like set yourself a random, like a goal that's limited to a certain type of shoes
constraints? I don't know. No, have I?
Well, in a way, I think so. Because you've done a lot more soloing than me, and even like
Yeah, so you're forcing some constraints.
it's a constraint for sure. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
I
stuff
think
on
around,
gritstone would be like that.
or when you're quite young, like the thing with Kachung, like I watching you on Kachung solo that when you were probably like 19 or 18 or something.
Yeah, I think it was when I did AirRep, so it would have been 19 or 20. I didn't want to sully Kachung by doing it with the rope. Because I wanted to solo it, and I didn't want to check it out because I knew I'd only had one burn at on-site soloing it. So I wanted to discover it without a rope.
By fair means.
By fair means. And yeah, that was good. I remember Lee and the guys were rapping down to Lats in the Belfry or whatever the other route that Taste of Honey is. And I was doing the Stefan Gleick's hang off one arm, just going, yep, sweet, ticking the Stefan pose. I did a front lever. I asked for my photo to be taken, but that was denied. And then I topped it out. I didn't want, I was hanging by one arm. And Lee was like, I don't want you soloing. I don't want you.
I'm not. Yeah, I think if I was to describe it now, it'd be like, I'm not gonna like validate like what you're doing, your actions, like externally. It's like you're gonna do this, do this thing, do this for you. Come on. But you were 19.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I remember that was even before grit and stuff. Yeah, so I think little things like that. You think, oh, that would be a nice one to do, and when I do it, I want to solo it.
Sick.
So that would be one. And then I guess things like Gaia. That was when we were at Gaia in England. I knew that hadn't been soloed, and I knew that I could solo it. So I whipped my harness off, and he was like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" I was like, "Oh, I might solo it." He's like, "You're gonna solo it," or something like that.
Oh,
You were like, it made sense to you.
yeah,
It seemed.
yeah.
And then that was fun. There was like a little discovery. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not really allowed to fall off. That's cool. Not that I was planning on it, but it forces something out of you, which I ended up really liking about gritstone, or the head point thing, where you can kind of get it dialed, and you have to learn to trust yourself and let that kind of worry not take a back seat, but just kind of not exist.
Yeah.
And just let yourself do it, not try and control it, or which sometimes gear is a bit annoying because, like Lee was saying, it's like safety is like you can feel safe when something's like good enough to hold its own weight because you're going to keep going up, whether it is safe or not.
Yeah.
So it's a pretend safe. So I was pretend safe because I wasn't going to fall off. Because I was, yeah.
What seemed important about soloing Gaia, given that no one had done it before?
Oh, just because it was a route from way back, Johnny Dawes' route that was like from Stone Monkey, and just tying a little bow around it. That was unique for me, for my experience. So I kind of like doing a route at a wraps, or doing a first ascent that you bolted and you've seen a line originally and then you've seen it through to the end, just to think back, oh yeah. I like to think watching Stone Monkey in 99 that I would end up soloing it. That's kind of fun.
But had it already been soloed, would there be something about still soloing it that would feel like personally expressive, do you think? Or did it help that, was there something about it having not been soloed before that was meaningful?
I probably didn't like the idea of falling off and hitting that tower like John Min. I'd probably prefer the crater. Yeah. And then that was similar to stuff like the Parthian shot direct thing and stuff, where you're just like in that little nighttime head torch capsule, where
it's got this like false sense of security in a way, where you're just in that little bubble.
Yeah,
you're not.
And
you're like
you
just 2 meters around you.
Climbed way above the gear,
Can't see it.
but you can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there was a point you mentioned about the pretend safe. I remember Paul Rogers, when he was teaching me, is like, if you got bad gear, just don't even place it. Like, pull it back out, because you'll climb better knowing you can't whip. Like, obviously sometimes there is gear where you're like marginal. It might work, might not. But if it's just dog shit, like, get rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're gonna climb better knowing there's nothing there.
I think there's truth in that. I think, when you're another 10 meters up looking down at a rope that's kind of, pinned into something, even if it's easy to forget how shit it was by the time you're another 10 meters up. But if it's like, oh, there's like a 20-meter loop of rope, you're like, I am definitely soloing right now. And that's like an important thing to like be realistic about in those situations.
I remember the first route I'd led on gear at Hidden Secrets at a Wraps. I think maybe 6 of my 7, or I don't remember how many pieces fell out. And you would say, that piece fell out, that piece fell out. And then when you came up, that other one was awful. That was just like, so it's like
Your first piece too.
I just remember climbing up over the slab going, oh yeah, hell, I guess that happens with trad climbing sometimes.
The fact that you didn't fall off is the reason you went on to climb really well.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, because I didn't break my
You weren't
body.
destroyed, but or you didn't sort of down climb in a wobbly manner.
Yeah. I had no idea. I just kept going. Yeah.
How old were you when you soloed Kachun? What? Sorry, you said 19, 20-ish?
Yeah, 19 or 20. Yeah.
And then what kind of grades were you climbing at the time? Like how?
I
What did that feel
would
like?
have climbed 32 probably, and I did EvRev, which was like V12.
Yeah.
That trip was hard enough. Yeah, segment up. Yeah,
Cool.
so I was pretty confident.
Yeah.
I was like, how it could be, but man, I remember getting to the roof, thinking, oh man, this is like good. I was half expecting like some slope is like on Dungeon Master or something. That's how I envisaged it, and I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then you've been to Patagonia as well.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Nah,
No.
no.
Can you tell me a little bit about that trip? Was that with Zach or
Jake, that
Jake?
one, yeah. I think at that time, like, that was the end of 2008. 2006 we were in the UK, kind of in the UK exploring that gritstone scene, and from there I planned a trip I came home obviously, and saved money and all those things. Went to Yosemite. That was like probably a real like eye-opening and sort of defining kind of experience for me. And then the logical progression there seemed like, like what else can I do? And Patagonia, or at least that part of Patagonia, which is like Torres del Paine, it's like more of a big wall free climbing destination, and just like wanted to have like more on my plate in that way, from a logistics and like managing the pressure sort of point of view.
Yeah.
So we went there with the view to try and free Riders on the Storm, which is a super famous route from Wolfgang Gulick and a few other famous Germans. Their vision with that route was always to find like a big wall free route, and this was almost before there was anything even on El Cap, for them to kind of have that vision and go, let's go there and do a free route. It's like that in itself, just the idea is amazing and inspiring. So our goal was to try and go and actually finish it. There was like 2 pitches that were not yet freed. We went there, and it's obviously just a team of 2. We had like bugger all fixed rope, like we had 1 extra static rope, and so we were kind of going capsule style, like just our first bivvy in the ledge was like a handful of pitches off the ground, the same again, to the point where over about 9 days we're bivvying 750 meters off the ground, and like just slowly chipping away at this thing. But a lot of the harder stuff was iced up and completely impossible to free in the conditions that we had. But on the whole, like as an ascent of that route, albeit not completely free, we freed quite a lot, and it was awesome. It's hard to, like, maybe I think something I found hard is as an Australian, like being able to kind of like keep going back for that sort of thing, especially with like zero funding. Like that trip cost so much money, and we already had like no money. Like I would have loved to have gone back like the following year and kept working away at it, but it's just not really super practical.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. There's so many moments on that climb that felt like they were, again, like expressions of everything that I'd learned. And amazing canvas for just, this is me as a climber.
tell them about the poop, not the poop shoot, the Herman Bull ice shoot.
Oh yeah,
Pretend safety again.
sure. Yeah. There were lots of interesting moments, like climbing, iced up faces, like with ice tools and etchers on the ice tools, and just making it work to kind of, and that's what I was saying before about like, maybe having this superpower of like this, you're just like sheer force of will to kind of do something. Like pictures like Ben's talking about is like, we're in a blizzard, and this vertical iced up face is like maybe, somewhere between 10 and 20 mil of ice on it, on a face. And like, all right, all right, it's staying. And just pushing forward as if like.
But you're on your etchers,
Yeah,
because you didn't have
exactly.
the
Well, I had
spike
crampons,
boots.
but but they wasn't going to work because it's like just too thin, and but you could get little bits. Yeah, so just, I don't know. Like I look back on that and think, would I do it again? Like if I had just fallen at any of those points, like how would I have fared? And I like to think that I was measured at that time, but obviously, in a best case scenario, it would have been fine to fall off at any point. But a best case scenario isn't like, thinking about all the possible things that are kind of curveballs. And yeah, maybe that's where maybe my climbing has changed a little bit. I would probably have a bigger margin. But having had those experiences and understanding more deeply what it was that empowered me to be able to do that, that's where I see the value in those experiences, not in, what they gave me at the time. It's like, okay, there's a personal resource there that if I am wise about how I use it, I can leverage that.
So you had 20 mil of ice, and then the cracks, were they like protectable at the time or not really? Because you can't really put a stubby in.
No, yes and no,
screw.
not really anything. No, I didn't have screws with me, but intermittently there were things to clip.
You told me there was like little bits of shoelace coming out of the rope that must have been from the first ascent.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces. There's a loop. You're not going to not clip it.
But you can't see what's behind the ice.
But yeah, you'd dig out something like, I can see a little crack system coming in through, and all right, I'm going to dig that out and put an RP in there. And yeah, I have no idea how long that pitch was. Like Jake might know, but it might have been 45 minutes. It might have been 3 hours or something. It was probably 40 meters, and it was just, I don't know. It was a cool experience. Like not something that I don't want to glorify risk taking in any way, and I don't think there needs to be risk to be immersed in a moment and find personal value in that. But I think the fact that I was personally accountable for my own safety, whatever that kind of looked like, is the teacher in that situation. And you don't need to be on the other side of the world, a kilometer off the ground, 2 weeks into a big wall with a blizzard around you to kind of have that that lesson or that experience. But it was a cool thing, interesting thing.
Yeah, on that topic, obviously we're talking about one end of climbing, but I wanted to mention like climbing's for everyone in a different way as well. Like there's so many different disciplines too. You've got bouldering. Speed is like pretty much a very different build to sport climbing as well. Most niche is probably dry tooling.
For sure. Yeah. Multi-day big wall, like dry tooling as a alternative to your free intentions. It's really just like,
what are you doing?
It's just like cleaning up after a fucking tornado.
No, it's like the show must go on.
Yeah, exactly.
I am summiting at all costs.
For sure. I know this is a little bit contentious, but like there's an ideal body for like climbing the hardest, but it can be for everyone. And like we were talking about previously.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be climbing 35 to get that same feeling.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Sure. Yeah, I think like obviously in everything in life, opportunity will determine how, like at what level someone operates, whether it's like, motorsport or athletics. In climbing is no different. Some people when their start level will be here, and other people their start level will be here. Their potential, if you want to think of it in that deterministic way, will have a relative difference to the next person, but in no way does it determine like the experiences you can get from it. I think people just need to be flexible about how they approach their climbing to get the experiences they want, as opposed to feeling like there's some sort of like performance threshold for having a great time as a climber. Like, the beautiful thing with climbing is that it's an extension of walking, and anyone who can walk can effectively find a version of climbing that is scalable to their physical ability. So yeah, it's every sport's harder, I think, at the top end, and like I would say, like, Ben and I are not like, I don't know, like whoever, Alex Migos or Andres Build or something like that, and it's like, yeah, cool. Some things would be easier if it's lighter, but it would in no way be more fun or more meaningful. Like, yeah,
absolutely, yeah, like different body types better for a different style entirely as well. Like 2 people can go up the same crack and have a totally different time,
definitely
based on hand size or their body or whatever.
Yeah,
The fact that it's a crack and they can't climb crack. I had to lay back it.
I'm guilty of doing that.
Hey?
I'm guilty of laybacking some cracks. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, for me, I like plateaued. I was like at 15. That was like pretty much where I got to my strongest, and then I put on 30 kilos as I grew the next few years, and then just never really climbed any harder.
And I think as a young person, that's a really hard thing to deal with. When like, even we grew up with some peers who, they're on that very, very like wiry end of the spectrum, and with probably less time in the game, we're climbing really well. Like, I think of Michael Searle or someone. It's like just a random kid from a nearby town. He was like just jumping and snaggling his way up like routes we couldn't do, and it's just what it is. Like, it's
for sure. We'll circle back to Yosemite. Did you have like what did you get up to over there?
Well, I had one trip in 2007, and then went back with Ben in 2008. My first trip there was, again, like, it was probably something I would say as a whole that trip was an adventure, because I had zero idea of what to expect. And Ben's probably the opposite, because like I came back, told him everything about it, what we were going to do the next trip. You spray someone down.
Preemptive. Frothing. Yeah.
You spray someone down on what to expect. And so I don't know if maybe it's worth saying like whether it felt like an adventure. I'm sure it did, because you can't. You don't drive in there and like look like a kilometer out from the cliff, look up at 45 degrees and not feel like this is going to be an adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like from
Zodiac felt like an adventure. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to go there. Like, this is the path I want to go down. Alex Huber went there and like freed El Capitan. I want to go and free El Capitan. And so, pack a couple of whole bags, put all this stuff in there, and like, loads of water, and start kind of going up. And he's like, soon, it's a real baptism by fire. And I'd say overall on that trip, I had, just came through it. It was a really empowering trip. I freed 3 of the routes on El Cap, which at that time, going and having a season where you just do 3 routes ground up, on-sighting the vast majority of pitches was like not super common. And so, for me at the time as well, like I was in my mid-20s, I think I found it really difficult to like not find a disproportionate amount of meaning in that type of climbing, or what that meant for who I was. It was, I had no experience with that. I had obviously grown up being a good climber, but feeling like I was like, playing catch up to, my brother or other peers. And it's like, you're really hungry for wanting to be awesome. And so to kind of jump into this field and realize, oh, wow, you're one of the world's best people at this. Like, it's really a seductive thing. And so I kind of obviously wanted more of that, which probably led me to going, cool, what's it like? Part of it is personal expression, but then the other part of it is just going, wow, I have a knack for this that feels good doing. And And so like I wouldn't say it's like an impure motive, but it's just like, the disproportionate meaning that you place on those like achievements or pursuing possible achievements is it's something I've probably gained more wisdom on now.
Yeah.
I don't know, how was your first experience at Yosemite?
Oh yeah, I think it was a bit big, and I'm always a bit susceptible to exposed roots, and not always feeling. I'd done the stuff in UK was like soling and some trad here and there, but it was just way bigger in the valley, so it was pretty different.
Yeah.
And being the first trip, because we were going to do Zodiac, to free Zodiac ground up, and that felt like, wow, bloody fucking hell, like a bare old task. And then we ended up going and giving it a crack twice. I think the second time I was had wet my whiskers a bit more on that style, but I was probably a bit greener than Lee was. Probably.
But the thing is, like I feel like the fact that we're probably two quite different climbers, that Ben might get quite scared in that sort of taller situation or run out situation, but it doesn't mean he isn't still like the climber that he is. And I had seen that in the UK, like Ben did things I couldn't do, even though he was probably more scared than me, because he's a better sport climber, like a stronger boulderer, and still very, very able when the moment is there to perform. He can go and turn that on and perform. Subjectively, he would say, "Oh, it was more scary," and I would say, "I was not scared. I came off and I couldn't climb the climb." But that's just a difference in subjective experience. And so like I quite knew what Ben was capable of. So let's go there. Let's get on this thing like that hasn't been done like ground up without pre-inspection and work before, and like just rewrite how this shit is done. And with a guy who would sort of admit to being like scared. But then sure enough, it's like, I remember the second attempt we had it, it's like you like cruised up the second hardest pitch like before I did, and like you under that pressure you still just do it.
Once the bloody
Turn it on.
pittons started pulling out and the poor lead just flipped upside down and stuff, I started Scaliba. But we still kept going.
I see people like on a day-to-day basis who like having a difficult time with fear in climbing. It's like, it doesn't matter, like that's okay, like this is your path. It doesn't need to look like anyone else's. And being scared doesn't mean you can't get the most out of yourself. It just means that you're going to be a bit more scared. And I don't know,
and oftentimes everyone's a little bit engaged.
Totally. And maybe it also just speaks to the mental process I have, is in like, this is what I'm saying to someone else. It's like, we just kind of, fear is here, and that's okay. And like, carry on. Like, and maybe that is something.
Instead, I'm like, fear is here. Keep going.
Fear is like these glasses that I've got on. Everything is fear.
I was recently listening to how fear and anxiety and excitement are very closely linked. It's just like the situation and perception, but what you feel is very similar.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can just like try and shift that to like nerve sharpen me, as opposed to like, fuck, I'm nervous.
Yeah. People ask me like, oh, what are you psyched for at the moment? I'm like, psyched. Don't know what you mean. Like either I'm just like, I feel always psyched and always like I'm really psyched for things, or it's like I'm never psyched. And I'm like, I don't really understand. It's like, what do you mean? What am I psyched for? There's a large list of things I am putting my effort into doing, but I don't understand this word.
20 minutes later, the person, I'm just asking what routes you want to do.
No. Looking at the guidebook.
Yeah.
So which one?
Yeah. Yeah, this is happening at the base of the crag before this person has had their morning coffee. And they need a shit. Come on, dog.
So
You're not going to win a Nobel Prize for your answer.
that's
I'm the same. I'll be like, psyched. I'm psyched to everything. But right now, I'm just going to sit down and do nothing. Don't talk to me.
Can you recall some of your closest calls on the rope? I know we kind of touched on experiences that were a bit more spicy, but have you had anything that has gone a bit more pear-shaped?
your trip at Taipan comes to mind.
Yeah, that's probably the closest. Huh?
Was it the chicken head?
Yeah, I just tripped on a chicken head on Mr. Joshua, like at the belay of Mr. Joshua, and then fell off the ledge. That's the long and short of it. But yeah, that's probably the closest goal. I should think, but similarly to like Alex Honnold. So, well, I survived, so it wasn't that close. But I wasn't conscious to kind of see the how it unfolded. But yeah, I imagine there was a potential for a more serious injury.
Yeah. So what was the outcome of that? You tripped and then
Yeah, I was just kind of toddling along. I think I was going down to get something, maybe in my climbing shoes, and I was about to do that Enter the Dragon thing. I just come down that scramble, and then like these shoes, they have a bit of fabric and then the plastic, and that had snag on one of those little grampians, chicken heads. And instead of going this way, it put me off that way, and that way it was the ledge. And I just remember very clearly thinking I have to jump and try and unhook my leg. So I kind of one foot like bounded, did a backwards donkey kick to unhook, and then I was midair then. So somehow kind of then managed to fall feet first. I remember going fuck, and then in that space, and then like pretty big fall. And it landed between two rocks, and then Alan, a friend up on Serpentine, I woke with him holding my head, so I don't know how long I was unconscious for, but then I was in and out for a while. But then there was an AMBO convention in Stall, which turned out to be handy, so they all got the call and went, woohoo, we get to do a job. And they all bombed out to the Gramps and came and sorted me out in some respects. But yeah, that's probably my close call, I'd say, yeah. But I was pretty good. I got a little puncture in my leg. I definitely have a ligament that's no longer there, I would say, or extreme laxity in my AC joint, and then a head injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
How long was the recovery for your head?
I don't know. It's like, sorry.
To the head.
Oh, like just when someone said, "Oh, maybe you should just stop taking those anti-seizure medication," I just stopped, and then I felt a lot better. But I was probably taking them for maybe a month or 6 weeks or something, and then my shoulder was sore. But after 2 months, I think I was climbing again. But I remember feeling hyper ginger on it. It felt really, like, because I thought it was kind of injured, I guess. But yeah, it sort of held up all right.
It was before we had studied physio and like had a real context of like, seeing an injury. Yeah, like I guess for what it would be, the way we would do it now is, oh, okay, I have this pathology. It's this type of tissue. It's going to take this much time, and in that time, I'm going to do this rehab. Yeah, it's like, oh, I did this, and okay, now I'm going to just let it. Oh, I was feeling better. Yeah,
yeah. I remember seeing Julian. So, just take the sling off. So it doesn't feel very good when I take it off. Everything becomes sore. He said, "Oh, he'll be all right." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll take it off." And then I kept like weaned off it over a week or two, and then just got back into it. But yeah, nothing too much untoward happened. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough.
And also I can't really remember that my memory around there. I was thinking about this the other day. Is a little bit patchy. Even the trip prior, I said, "Oh, that's right. I went and did Gilgamesh." I remember doing Gilgamesh, but I don't remember much about the trip, and I don't remember the little things. There was this Swiss guy with us. Oh, that Swiss guy. Yes, like just funny little things.
Yeah.
Vacated my brain, I think, around that time. Yeah. And I remember little patches of doing Groove Train, which I'd just done a couple of days prior, but then also like, yeah, I did Groove Train.
Oh, you had done it.
I had done Groove Train, and then within a couple of days, I fell off the ledge.
Okay.
Yeah, and just it feels like I had a dream once, and those things happened.
Yeah.
And I have a clear memory of what was actually a dream. That's how it feels, that trip.
Yeah.
And the time around, because I was living at Elmar's house, I was like, "Oh,
Really?
did that
I don't
happen?"
remember that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, well, same for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
That period was documented as well when you climbed Groove Train, or was that later?
No, that was later on. I went down with Ed Thornhill to film that. Yeah,
2 years later.
How about you, Lee? Any?
I feel like the closest calls are probably maybe things that I was like maybe even completely naive too, like having witnessed a bunch of like rock fall and things, like, and not been hit. It's like, oh, I didn't get hit, but there's no reason like some of those things couldn't have been. I couldn't have been wrong place at wrong time, and I think watching and hearing of people having accidents and things, it's like, or Ben's accident, it's like, I don't want to be as arrogant to say that like I know when those close calls were necessarily. I feel like they could quite often be happening around us, or like in a way
Yeah.
all the time.
Quite often.
Yeah, so I try to be really aware of like all those little things, and I would say like a fairly like, maybe not conservative, but I'm pretty like risk averse like person, and like crashing out in the bush. I'm not like getting close to the edge, poking my head over, and trusting kind of random things, and yeah, just kind of like try to be aware of the dangers. But yeah, I think it's probably the closest calls have been, probably not being taken out by rocks, or probably the different times where you do just kind of lean into what feels like maybe being safe and well within your limits, but actually you just didn't happen to pull on a piece of choss when you run out or something like that. Like, so yeah, I think they're probably the situations. And if I think like that, I feel like maybe I'm better at being on guard for like risk.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Yeah. So when did you guys study physio, or like when did you begin your journey?
We started kind of a bit convoluted for both of us, but I did a semester of uni in 2006. Like, I finished high school, but I didn't get like a school leavers rank. Like it's currently like an ATAR, I think. And you did year 11, but not year 12. Is that right? Yeah. So I started in 2006 with a science degree, and got reasonable marks, but then didn't have still didn't have the vision to kind of like go further. I had applied for osteopathy, but they cancelled the course. And then in 2009, Ben was like, "Oh, I'm going to apply for physiotherapy. They've got it at West End Sydney Uni." I'm like, "Oh, do they really? Oh, they didn't before."
Did I say that?
Yeah. And so he had put in an application. I'm like, "Oh, I'll apply." And I'd already been at the uni. So they let me in for 2010. And that's when I started. But then you hadn't finished school.
No, I didn't finish school, so I was just like, well, no harm in trying. But I didn't get in. But then I did a stat test, and I got into health service management, then exercise science, then transferred to physio once I got good enough marks. Once I learned how to learn.
Yeah.
So 2012 would have been your first proper year of it, because that was the year you did bugger all units, and because you had so much advanced standing on certain units.
Now.
And yeah, you went to Frankenura.
Yeah.
So yeah, you ended up being 3 years behind me.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
because I had 2014 off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And then Move Clinic began how long ago?
Like I think we first saw the property we're in 2015, and Andrew and I rented the property and opened like a little 2-room studio and a climbing gym, which was in this room, which we ran with another couple. And then over that time, since 2016, the business has sort of grown and become a bit more sustainable, hopefully. And then finally, after Ben did 2 years at another clinic down the mountains, he started here. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, wicked. And like you said, it ties into what you do now quite well.
It was pretty good. We get injured and then treat ourselves on the fly.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yeah, experiment.
What are the most common climbing injuries you see? Is it like pulleys, shoulders, and
I'd be interesting to see what you think, because I'd say like we both do our work, but in a lot of ways, like it sort of sometimes feels a bit isolated. Like,
yeah, because you're just in a room all day going, oh, this works. No, I'm not. I know it works. Because I've tried it on myself. No, I would say I see more pulleys than in climbers. Pulleys and DIP, like synovitis things. then I'd definitely see shoulders and then elbows. As far as climbers go.
Yeah, pulleys are a big one. I think because they're just so prohibitive for people. They're like, oh, I can't climb around this, especially in the Blue Mountains. People can't go and grip just fat twofers. It's like you climb, you're on your warm-ups and you feel limited by your pulley injury. So definitely see a lot of pulleys. I think people, like there's a lot of information out there on pulley management, but at the end of the day, people find it difficult to apply all that information to themselves. And it's fair enough because it's like everyone's experience is a little bit different. People's gripping preferences are different. So you're kind of working with that person, and it's definitely different from person to person.
Yeah, I would say it's rare to see someone that you would not rare, but it's just not a cut and paste. Oh, you got a pulley. Here's the thing that we do.
Yeah.
It's like different for everyone, but then also everyone has come having Dr. Googled or I've been doing this because Joe Blogg said blah. It's like, oh yeah, but it's a bit like this, so maybe we'll leave that for there's always something to tailor.
Definitely, yeah.
100% I find anyway.
Cool. Yeah. And then how do you guys train? How do you approach that? And has that changed quite a lot?
I've always quite liked training, and the more time goes by,
The more you like it.
I like it, and I'm like a pack saddler that just keeps throwing things on his wagon and go, I like that. I'm gonna do that and that and that. So I my training has definitely changed. It's become a bit more. It's making use of my desire to be a bit obsessive and experimental, because I like seeing stuff in other sports and going, they do that. How do I incorporate that into this?
What's the possible value in it?
Yeah, what's the possible value in it? So like powerlifting stuff or arm wrestling stuff, and then I got a trap bar because my legs were weak, and for basketball I was like, I'll get some stronger legs, and I felt like, dang, this is like really excellent for like strength for my posterior chain. This applies. What else can in this world can apply to that? And just following my nose and what smells good and seeing how it goes. But
yeah, it seems like that. It's like very curiosity. Like it seems like it's very curiosity driven, and it's like your curiosities are different from the next person, and that's why your training that's why your training will look different. But it's like it's not because it's like, I'm searching for the best way. It's actually like, cool. What's
just like
what am I interested in at the moment?
Or interested in, and hey, that could be a really good way of isolating a deep lock with pronation. Shit, I've struggled with that forever. Wow, let's just do that. Whatever, burying an edge,
And it definitely shows when you come out of a training block, whether it was like 2003 or 4 when you did Mechanical Animals, or like when you did Mr. Pink. Like there's these times where Ben's come out of a training block and it's just like there's just like
I look like a
but it's just like
with
that was like everyone else. It's like there's just no way that anyone else could have touched Ben in the way he was strong, and it's often like clearly an obsession over one sort of specific thing. You like with Mechanical Animals, it's like the sequence he did. It's just like he had to kind of like jump up to this thing, catch front 3 open, hold this cut, come back on, and it was just so much power for that sequence. And it was because you'd been like doing some campus drills on front 3 opens, I think, with like pretty high volumes and things. And then I remember watching you on Mr. Pink, which sadly that footage got lost, of Ed Thornhill's. But yeah, just like this laddering through these like hard moves. It's you probably don't feel like it was anything special, but
no, I just remember thinking, that felt all right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so
Hit the
what was
crux
it?
5 times.
Migos thought it was the hardest 8C plus he'd ever done when he did it. And but I feel like your performance has often been an expression of some severe obsession.
What was that?
Some severe obsession.
Severe.
Yeah.
would you say you have like underlying progressive overload and then you're just adding to that? Or like how are you constantly changing it up?
That's how he'd prescribe it, but he usually just starts with the maximum overload.
That's start with the
That's what it looks like from the outside.
go from the maximum. Keep going. No, I don't know.
I need a sick day tomorrow.
Oh no. Yeah, I've got severe DOMs.
Can't walk.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just mix it up really. Yeah, it depends on what I've been playing around with, but yeah, progressive overload would have been like the general thing.
Yeah. Sweet. Pretty similar for you.
Just sort of like definitely in terms of like the curiosity thing, being like a driver. Like Ben's got a very like how his body does something approach. Maybe I am really quite think about what's happening inside a lot more. So it's like maybe a bit more of a passion for like the biochemistry and the internal physiology a little bit. And so that combined with having like a side interest of like understanding endurance sports and things like that probably leads me down more of this route of, how can I kind of leverage training energy systems, or how, like what's happening when I strength train, and like maybe the things I would do would be quite simple, but it's like very principle led and maybe more physiologically led, or maybe. And so sometimes when we talk, it feels like we talk about training and it's like almost sometimes feels like a bit of different language, but it's sort of sometimes like, or as in we don't end up talking heaps about training, even though I think we probably like have a pretty good sense that each other trains like quite well.
No, I don't talk language very, or even words. I forget them.
Yeah, but you have a like an outrageously good ability to be like understand how something applies and how you like wield a particular thing in climbing, and go, oh, I can kind of like find a way to emulate that in a training way.
Yeah.
And then and maybe too you gravitate toward like quite like heavy loads and volumes and things like that, and then I would gravitate toward this idea of like it's unrealistic, but trying to find like this like minimum effective dose of something, and probably being kind of like light on, and that's probably like a forearm size is a good reflection of.
No, they're not that different.
They were pretty different, I reckon. Yeah, like
Not really. Yours are more tanned.
definitely.
Yeah. I probably used to train like Ben and just like start at max, but then I reached a point where I was like, especially I'd go climbing, lose 10 kilos, love the gym, and then put on all this weight and muscle for no reason. But I'd be like, oh, what's the most efficient way I can now do that? Because I'm sick of like always working so hard and knowing that like the percentage of what you get back's like less and less. So you try and set the baseline lower. Anyway, I'll segue back to another question. If you guys got any particular facts or like anything random fact on, it could be health, fitness, or finance that you've got off the top of your head, even physio related, just for someone out there that they may not know. Could be super random or quirky.
It's funny, isn't it? Like I feel like a lot of our work is like it's very like much a response to the person.
Yeah.
It's like who are they, and like what are they, not necessarily what are they coming in with physiologically. That's usually the easy kind of thing. It's more about like who is this person, and what do they need beneath the things they're saying they need, and maybe what do they need emotionally that they don't yet know how to articulate. And that's kind of usually how you're trying to package the intervention to kind of meet those needs. But yeah, I feel like it's hard to kind of sum up, oh yeah, here, this is like a nugget for you. Like some people are really good at like nuggets of information. I think are people who, maybe they're just very good, like, zoom out concept type people, not detail people. Or they're just like really well practiced at speaking publicly.
No, that's fair. Well, maybe if I rephrase that for you, what's one thing you've learnt in, and again, that could be hard, but one thing owning this business has taught you?
For me personally, something that I would say, like having something I've learned owning this business would be that if I didn't like jump into something naively, I wouldn't have got anything done.
Yeah, cool.
So it's like, I think, sometimes you there is no certainty in life, and so you've got to like really acknowledge that and just go with things. So,
Absolutely.
I think I'd say like, it's not necessarily for everybody, that approach, but I think the more you can kind of go, I'm just gonna get in there and have a go, like that will probably teach you things that help you in the long term.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's like there's no perfect time, and just sink or swim and you learn from it.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time goes very, very fast. Like, and I don't even think I know just quite what that means yet. Like, I'm only just getting a taste of it. And yeah, I feel like maybe you with Milo, like your 20-year-old daughter, it's like probably feels like not long ago that she was like 3 or something. And yeah, it's just, just you want to do something, do it like now. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm.
Anything to add?
And if you don't know what you want to do your best to try and find out.
That's all good. Don't worry. I was kind of expecting some real quirky random fact.
I was going to say, if you want to own it, you've got to bone it.
That's true.
Quirky fact, I don't know. No, I don't know.
No, it's all
Quirky
good.
facts. I'll probably have 1,000. Yes.
Yeah,
Push the right button.
Yeah. I feel like that for sure.
No, I don't know. No. It's all mysterious.
Very stoic. Any of your, like, what's your most proud achievement, would you say? In climbing, anyway.
I'd probably, I don't know if I was almost going to say, I don't know if I have any yet.
I struggle with the word proud in a way.
Yeah, well, I thought you were taking the piss. No, yeah. Well, things I'm really, really glad that I've done would be Sean Miles' project at Raps and Solo Gaia. Yeah, they're probably my 2 favorites. But if you were going to take some sense away from me, I would hope it wasn't those.
Yeah, I feel like they're good ones because like they both represent different aspects that are still both very you. Like, and without the other doesn't tell a full story, because you could be the person who turns up to the climb season after season, like the Sean Miles project, and whittle it down and get it done and do all the right training, which is one thing. But then to be the person who just willingly takes the harness off and decides to solo something, backing their ability in that moment is also, it's good. Yeah, most proud achievement. I hope it's yet to come. I very much plan on that, like, because I feel like
Mine are yet to come as well.
yeah, like I feel like where I'm at now is having like built on a lot of so much learning and so much like hopefully like what is like humility, and having learned from my experiences. Obviously, you're getting better and becoming more proficient and expert with what you're doing. I think maybe it's just that I was still curious, and I'm proud that I'm still playing this game and like pushing myself and climbing better than I've ever climbed. And that's probably the thing I'm most proud of, is that I keep growing. Certainly ascents, but a lot of them are kind of circumstantial. Like, we're both fortunate enough to have like got into climbing at a good time where we've been able to do things that feel like kind of, meaningful in the scheme of the scene.
Yeah.
Which, as time goes on, I recognize that for the opportunity and circumstantialness that it is, as opposed to it being the result of anything, particularly transformational. And that's hopefully what, some of my future climbing is. It's like, it's probably going to be less headline worthy relative to the Australian scene, let alone the global scene, than ever before. But for me personally, like, that will represent growth that is, on a total another level than doing whatever, one of the first 34s in the country, or the ascents in Yosemite or something like that. Which, headline wise, that looks good, but like, I know that it's less of an expression of hard work. Yeah.
On that topic, have you guys ever felt like a bunch of external pressure from like the community or like sponsors to always do certain things as well?
No, if there was pressure, I didn't feel it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I don't think there's plenty of pressure coming from myself. There's not enough room to register any.
Yeah.
And not that I have pressure to kind of do stuff for any particular reason other than, I don't know, just maybe getting up one of the routes on my tick list or hit list from 2009 at some point in the future.
But would you say that like the pressure you feel internally from yourself was contributed by like the sense of meaning that like those things would have had you done them? Like is
No,
yeah. Yeah, I feel like these days, things that you're kind of psyched to do are very personal, and you do them when you want to do them, and you just no apologies for like,
being a shithead about it.
yeah. But do you feel like in the past that was like, more affected by what other people thought of what you're doing?
Oh yeah, I don't know. But what was the question again?
Well, have you felt like external pressure from like the
You
community
said
or
that you felt
sponsors?
internal pressure, but then like, do you think that the
Yeah.
internal pressure has
But then,
changed in some way?
I don't feel like, oh dang, North Face are giving me like some stuff. I better perform this quarter get some red points in. Like I would never, and I have never felt that from anyone. So
The reason I ask is that I would say, like, for me, I never felt like someone is expecting me to do something, but like
no.
I definitely a lot of pressure on myself. I have in the past, and I have now, but I think that's something that like I choose to put on myself, for sure. But I think in the past, I wanted to feel like, good, like relative to the people around me. I want to feel like a champion or to succeed at something and to win stuff in our little kind of version of things in our little scene. And so I would say that is like, yeah, maybe it's not external pressure, but it's like, it's an external validation that you're kind of seeking. And I think that that's definitely changed like immensely. Like you can't avoid like kind of, or hopefully everyone starts to kind of understand like when those motivations are external versus internal with life. But yeah, I think and that probably just came from a place of like, having I don't know, just being young and wanting to prove yourself and not feeling good. Like you don't feel good as a kid, and I think you grow up, kids probably more often than not don't feel good about themselves and want to do something, so they'll seek the easiest path to feeling good. And if you happen to be talented at something, that's the driver for a lot of young sports people. And yeah, I feel grateful that like in climbing and in that same path, I've found like a way to just be like, oh, I am so like motivated toward doing cool shit. It just happens to look quite similar to how it's always looked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I guess probably the difference is now it has like zero to do with what other people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Listening to that, it sort of triggered me to think about, for me, I was like hell bent on, I wanted to climb a lot of like technical 7,000 meter peaks or 6,000 meter peaks. And
Yeah.
prior to COVID, I was like, I had that plan. It was like, here I go here, then I go Patagonia, then I go Alaska, then I go to Nepal, then I do this. And then COVID happened, and like we were kind of forced not to do all that. I did rock climb a bit, but I just like lost my mojo there, and then kind of took a step back and thought, like, do it, like, how bad do I want to do that as well? Like we're talking about, like, had plenty of times like fucking huge block of ice just whizzed like right past me, and you're like, yeah, it's cool, it's awesome, and the views are amazing, and the experience is great, and I still want that to an extent, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think I had like a different mindset back then. Like I was a bit more younger and like naive and just like, let's go get it.
Yeah.
And then COVID forced me to be like, oh, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I had a little identity crisis too. I was like, oh, I'm stuck in Australia. I'm not like climbing mountains, which is what I love doing and like people know me for, which doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But have you had any like forced moments of change that you can think of in that way?
No, like when I started uni, like that was a bit of a change, and then I'd shacked up with Shawnee, and when we had Mila, who's our daughter. And so definitely like when I was at uni, I knew, I'm going to have to fucking hammer uni, and then I've got family. And then when I'm out of uni, I'm going to have to work. That felt like, I'm not.
Defines a lifestyle that's different.
And real different to just a couple of years prior, which was, oh yeah, cool. Where's the road trip? Oh yeah, cool. We'll go there. Sweet. I'm going to save some money.
And I tell my employers that I'm not working these days, Tuesday. So that's how it is.
How did I save that money for that Yosemite trip back there? I earned no money, but somehow put it away.
Yeah.
So not possible at the moment.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
it's just like, dang, dog. But yeah. But then now it feels like I'm just coming back into my ability to kind of make time for that, because Mila's older and independent and blah blah blah. And I've got to sit Woody at home and can try and yeah. So yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that kind of answered the question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's like it been like waves of like experiences that have driven that need for like, I don't know, reflection on what you're setting your sights on. Like some of it's just getting an insight into like what that might bring you if you're like, I want to do this thing. And you kind of, especially as a younger person who's simplifying kind of, what it is that it's going to give you. It's like, you kind of think whatever achieving a goal is going to be somehow like, amazing. But then you achieve goals and you gain the insight that actually that's relatively,
Doesn't mean
it
much.
doesn't change.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't change me. Yeah, it doesn't change me. And it's like, okay, I still have, I can still have a good time. I can still have a shit time. I can still feel really bad about myself or all these different things. And actually, like, I could just stack up all this massive hit list of things I want to do in this hope that it's going to somehow change how I think about myself. And by the time you've ticked a few things in life, hopefully not too many, and you're not too old, you realize that that's not going to be the thing that
For sure.
changes you or makes you happy. So it's obviously it's a cliche, but you set up these goals more because of the lifestyle that it's going to bring you. And yeah, there's obviously context. Like, I've got a 6-year-old and a wife, and we've got careers and things. And so now the goal, is the lifestyle and the continued personal growth through, which, could be climbing, could be the vehicle for that, or other things if it had to be.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I've like tried to find joy out of smaller things now rather than like the big things, always chasing big things.
Definitely.
Do you guys get really calculated in terms of like what you'll eat before you try your hardest as well, or anything like that? Or you just kind of go out there and get after it?
Sort of, yeah. Like I would say, like I keep it quite simple, but like the simple stuff shifts depending on what the training focus is. If it's just like, just like right now, it's like January, February, like not good time of year. It's like the only real goal is like to be fueled for sessions and uninjured, healthy, like, sleeping well, like recovering well, having a rest day and feeling like ready to be like, really good again. So yeah, diet is around facilitating that. And then always this kind of view to like, what is helpful for me, like in the long term, like, how do I minimize risk of cancer and like metabolic disease and heart disease and things like that. And so, so it's like, there's probably those two things. And then, in a performance phase, there'd be different kind of goals for sure. Like, I don't want to have like a massive meal with salty, like the night before. Like, it's just like, I will definitely be 2 kilos heavier than I might be
with the water
the day before. And it's like, that is just a no-brainer to leverage. But I think a lot of people find that a difficult conversation to have because they struggle to kind of talk about practical nutrition and differentiate it from like disordered eating. And it's like, so it's obviously it's a thing in every single sport in the world. But in a lot of other sports, it's just like better controlled, and it's people aren't making those decisions emotionally themselves and trying to peak 2 times a week every week for 6 months or more,
For sure.
which is what's happening in climbing, and it's where people get
That's a good
tied
point.
up in it.
Yep. Yeah, so that salts the water retention for the 2 kilos more, you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, for sure. Or just the sheer volume. Like we can both probably eat quite a bit. Like
Like 2 packs of me goring before dinner is like I will be 3 kilos heavier tomorrow. Guaranteed. Oh yeah, it's guaranteed. Just salty water.
Yeah.
Yeah. As yummy as it is, I'll still do it though. Won't stop.
Yeah, just not on the days where you want to feel like, okay, I feel like myself and not like, GI contents as well. Myself and that.
And what, like, say you were going to go do Dangle Pig tomorrow, saw some blooming.
Yeah.
Like Darwin, yeah.
I don't know if I pronounce it right, so that's why I went Dangle Pig.
I thought I'd done that, but then you went for it anyway instead. Schlossen Blumen.
I love the name too. I think it's funny. But
We'll from here on call it Dangle Pig.
Yeah, Dangle Pig.
what would your diet look like for that though?
If I was going to try it tomorrow.
Not that we're trying to tell everyone to eat like this all the time, but what would you do?
If I was going tomorrow.
Yeah, like if you're leading up for it, like you wouldn't eat much on the day.
Oh no, I wouldn't change anything really, because my breakfast never changes, which is like I'll have some oat bran. I'll have 30 grams of oat bran and which is a double serving, and then this is my normal breakfast, folks. And some protein, WPI, and then mid morning I'll have some muesli normally. Yeah, so I'm pretty consistent, and I find that if I have snacks throughout the day, it's pretty good. So I am a bit like what is it? Repetitive.
Yeah.
And a bit, yeah. But no, so I'd make sure I eat enough at the crag as well. I wouldn't try and be light the days before. It's more the weeks or months before that lead me to being maybe a lower body weight, but not very low, not low.
Yeah,
but so I wouldn't change anything.
it's more about what you wouldn't do.
What I wouldn't do.
Yeah, as in like, maybe once, I don't know what it would be, but like you might, I'm going to have like some awesome thing. Mila's made a cake. You're like, I'm going to smash some cake. But if it was the day before, it just might not be.
Yeah, but again, like I probably wouldn't. Yeah, if I'd been setting the scene of like from for a longer period, I would not have 5 cinnamon scrolls. If she'd made her, I would. Yeah, because I know, if I weigh 75 kilos this morning, I might be 76 tomorrow, but whatever, I can get up the dog regardless. Yeah. So I wouldn't stress too hard, because they're just made up struggles. They don't exist. You kind of just, it doesn't matter. I could do with a 5 kilo weight vest.
Sick. Yeah, no, that's great. I wanted an answer like that for people that are, doing these things unnecessarily. Sorry.
No. Well, yeah. Well, I was purposely having a bulk for December and January, because I was just like, I just can't be arsed thinking about food. And so I've been on a strict cheese inhaling diet. I'm trying to get out of it now, but it turns out to be addictive.
Just a full wheel a day.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, cheese, toasties, snacks. And
No, every summer I've been more deliberate as well, because I think I've come to the realization, actually, I don't think it's very easy for me to put muscle on. Like I remember doing some measurements on my forearms like pretty much 20 years ago, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's still basically the same. Like, circumference wise, obviously it's not really like a great measure, but it's still a measure of something. And it's like, actually, I think for all this time I thought, maybe I like risk getting like really bulky for climbing. But again, like Ben says, it's a construct that is reinforced around us that we kind of are buying into. And it's like, well, actually, what would happen if some 4 or 5 summers into like deliberately trying to put muscle on, and it's probably, whenever I train more and put more muscle on, it's like, I'm not really getting much heavier. So I think it's actually a much harder thing than people give it credit for. And if you can find a way to do it in the muscles that like actually count, you're onto something. If you want to like really like level up physically, like you need muscle to do it, and you can't do that.
You just need energy in your system as well to get the macros in.
Totally. Yeah.
But yeah, and anyone like that I know, especially in the past that have been like, oh no, I'm not eating today. I'm skipping breakfast or skipping morning tea because I just feel like for whatever reason that they tell themselves, invariably that someone that doesn't seem like they progress very well or get the most out of their training, or they're very often quite injured, or they'll have injuries a lot of the time anyway.
Yeah, definitely. They don't get better season on season. And now I think like climbing for definitely a lot, like over 20 years, you're like, all right, like how am I going to keep getting better? Like that's the puzzle. Part of that is like fuel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what sort of volume would your training be like in a week?
I'll climb once or twice a week at the moment, especially now that Elphinstone's been consistently pretty good and people are getting out on Mondays. I've been going there. So volume just training wise, then I'll normally train Tuesday, but then now basketball's back, so I'll do basketball. Then I'll try and climb Wednesday, but I'll definitely train Wednesday evening, train Thursday evening. Then Friday's a rest day, where I do legs and just arm and wrist strength. So it's not really a rest day, but I call it rest day because it's not on my fingers and not on the board. And then Saturday, normally I might rest, depends how cactus I am, but then I might train depending. I might do a fingerboard or arms. Then Sunday normally is a strict rest day, but lately it's been a multi-sport rest day where I do arm wrestling and basketball, and then I'll climb Monday, and then I'll because Elphinstone, then I'll start again.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So is that 2 days on rock, 3 days on the woody?
Yeah, probably 3 or 4 days in the shared training. 2 days definitely on the wall. Yeah, in 1 day, kind of a bit of strength.
Sweet.
And then a day of pulling.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about you, Lee?
So I guess the way I would plan my week around this kind of like typical kind of structure. So, but I know
No multi-sport rest days.
there's definitely multi-sport rest days because like my son Max like wants to go do flips at the gymnastics place. So I'll go and like work on like some things that I like have as projects there. But then, so there's definitely some multi-sport. But I would typically look at it like I set out a typical week. If life outside of climbing didn't exist, that could predictably happen, and I would be pretty much like sweet and fresh for it all. But life involves like work and parenting and suboptimal sleep sometimes, and so it's like it becomes this kind of balancing act of like, okay, what stimulus am I due for? So in a typical week, it'd be like I'll do fingers on 4 days. 2 of those will be boulder sessions, and then 2 of those will be rock days. So then I've got 3 days off my fingers, and then I'll do like 4 strength sessions, which is like 2 is just pulling, and it could literally be like pull-ups as part of a fingerboard, and that could be a really low volume because I'm doing it just like 2 sets or something before I moonboard a boulder. So it's like I still class it as like a session because it's different. It's like, or it might be on a separate day, depends how it rolls out. And then there'll be some non-pulling strength. So like, mostly it's still pulling and pushing. But yeah, it's not just kind of like the straight overhead pull, like way to pull up or one arm pull ups or something. It's like, okay, it's like rows, reverse flies, like different combinations of things and a little bit of like mobility based lower body stuff. If it's raining or like if it's too hot to climb and I don't get like the more power endurance-y sessions, and I'll do a power endurance thing somewhere. And I'll usually try and do something super easy that resembles like aerobic-y stuff in my forearms. And it sounds like really complex, but because I start with this typical week and I look, okay, tomorrow the weather's crap, so I won't be able to climb, but I'm due to do my like short boulders. I'll do short boulders, and I want to do high quality fingers, so I'll do that before that. Yeah, it's relatively fluid, but I have like these kind of in a way boxes that I'll tick. And then usually if I work, I get to like 5 p.m. or something and I've done 3,000 steps. I can go outside and run. And it's not because of like it's climb performance, it's about offsetting poor health. And so just balancing out. And I like to go out into the Blue Mountains and connect with my fundamental kind of like nature, and I look out into the bush and I see that, and it's like, oh yeah, this
Feels good.
feels good. So yeah. And usually I have a day of conversations and facilitating, like, the work we do with people. And yeah, it's just important just to go and go, no, yeah, we're all just, specks,
For sure. Yeah.
which is good.
A dot,
Yeah.
not on the timeline. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That would be my typical kind of approach to a week. But yeah, usually some activity every day, strengthy stuff 4 days.
Yeah. Sweet.
And obviously, probably we don't say, but we would reiterate so much with people is like you're a lot, like your week needs to look like practicing the thing you want to be a master at. And I'd say like we probably both embody that with our like on wall stuff. Is like, or even like probably gripping, like it's like you do it the way that you try and be the athlete you want to become, which is like attention to detail and like doing all the simple stuff really, really well. But movement and consciousness while you're doing it and things. Yeah. But yeah, because I think sometimes you answer that question, it can be very like, oh, this is how my training looks, in a language that people understand. It's like, oh, fingers and this and that. But like actually just time you spend practicing being a rock climber is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you coach for climbing as well, Ben?
Yeah, I do some coaching. Yeah, we both have done a bit of coaching in the past, but yeah, I've been doing a bit more of that lately. Yeah, I've always liked the idea of it, but it's only recently that I've sort of started doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Is there any free nuggets for people who are like just getting into climbing that want to get a bit stronger that you hand out in terms of like up down ups, or like just like a couple of random things that they could do at the gym to be
Don't avoid mixing up the grip types and learning how to, open 3, chisel, half crimp, full crimp, and train them all. And don't just do 1 or 2 and assume that that's good. I think that's probably the main thing. Like, yeah, learn how to use your fingers and get them conditioned for those positions that invariably you're going to use. Yeah.
Yeah. And would you add anything in terms of flexibility or like mobility there?
I 100% would suggest it, and then I would 100% struggle to find the time to do it myself. Which is it's always hard making a habit for stretching for me. But yeah, it is. Whenever I've stretched a lot, it's felt so much better on the rocks. Hip mobility is hard to come by in my body. So yeah, I would tell folks at home too.
Sweet.
But yeah, I always have intention. Okay, when I rest between these reps, I'm going to do horse stance, and then when I rest between those sets, I'm going to do middle splits. But invariably, I'll like find my way back onto, what else does Otis Redding have to offer? What's Instagram doing right now? Like, dang.
Yeah. No, easy to do.
It's easy to do, but yeah, the bones are there for the sessions. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at the gym and I've always got like 40 seconds to a minute to stretch in between sets, but I never do either.
No. If I do anything, I'll mosey on over to the chode machine and crank out some reps. That will affect my next set.
Can you explain what that is for?
It's like a grip machine where it's like a weight stack where you're pulling 2 bars together.
Yeah.
One's
Essentially
the roll.
Essentially finger curls.
Finger curl
with a blocked thumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen those?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's good. It's my desert island training tool.
Have you got anything to add on that, Lee?
I would say don't buy into having a style.
Yeah.
Like it's probably the biggest thing that I think from a technical point of view, people pigeonhole themselves because they buy into the idea that there is such a thing as having a style, and this idea of like predeterminism. It's like you can become anything, and like we both like did this a lot, and this is like role playing. You just like watch multiple people, look at the way it's different, even if you can't describe it. Just get on the wall and climb like in different ways.
Yeah,
and like learning to kind of like move differently is huge, I think.
Yeah, people that have enviable characteristics that you can't
Oh yeah, in terms of movement, yeah, absolutely. Or even not in terms of movement, in terms of like, say like just a stiff cut, and like, just like, oh, I'm just going to do that. Like, this, you try and embody the thing you see happening, because invariably, like the people you watch, their climbing style, if we want to think of it that way, like is feeding back into their physiology.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we had no training tools, off-wall training tools, could we still develop physical characteristics? We totally could, but you'd need to be really deliberate about how you did it. And a lot of people, like, our movement is defined by what's most economical for our physiology. And so people fall into the trap of like constantly leveraging the movement that suits their physiology, whereas we could kind of embody a movement that doesn't suit our physiology and therefore get a really like desirable physical effect. And I think that's actually something that, like we probably bring it in quite a lot, like deliberately. That is like climbing a boulder that we might be able to climb a particular way or with a certain sort of lopey tempo, but trying to either do it just somehow different.
Yeah, and driving it to practice a style that you're not typically good at, so that you become competent at it when you need it to.
Exactly, or it just develops those physical traits. And I think it's easier to visualize the things that make someone move the way they do, rather than trying to distill that into instructions that you then try to like, tell yourself like, do blah. It's like, actually just watch that and then try and like embody it, because we want to get really well practiced at being relatively automatic, as opposed to having these kind of like this micromanagement approach to our body, which is crazily impossible anyway. You're like, okay, I need to let my body do what it knows how to do because it's practiced it a lot. And if you've practiced a diverse sort of repertoire of moving, then you can just hit go on it and body does it.
Yeah, some really good points in there. I was thinking when you say like don't pigeonhole yourself into things, I always hated slabs, and I was like, oh, crimps are horrible. Sure. I'd love like open hand stuff, but
yeah, it's okay to love the thing you love for sure. Like, and but it's but yeah, if you want to get better at something,
absolutely.
Starting with like this like belief approach, believing that you can change and grow. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Is there anything else you wanted to add or talk about? Is there anything you boys I might have missed or you like would like to touch on? You've got the opportunity.
Things are there's always questions I have for Ben. I drive to work most days and ponder over why Ben is the way he is.
What does that mean?
No, more like I wonder why he's like that.
Like what?
I fell off a cliff. Hit my head.
Yeah, he had a brain injury. Don't forget the brain injuries. It's probably the brain injury. But he did that before. So, yeah.
What, the cheese on toast addiction?
No.
I was going to ask if you found AI helpful, or do you use that in work at all?
Very minimally. I would use like, simple sort of chat GPT stuff. Literally for just like constructing letters. And things like that. I almost would say I use it more as like a personal assistant than anything. And obviously there's a lots of dialogue around it, pros, cons, and things like that. And everyone or every other person is sort of saying like, oh, it's certain jobs are going to be like irrelevant and things like that. But for as long as the internet's content is as pretty average, AI's capacity is probably going to be somewhat limited in that way. It doesn't have a very good way of differentiating like the quality of content or the nuance, and it certainly doesn't understand the person for whom that text, let's say, or whatever advice it's giving, that doesn't understand the needs of that person emotionally, because the person in front of the computer doesn't know how to even express that or even knows what they need in the first place. And that's probably where especially in our work, it's where human interaction is, at no risk of being overtaken by AI. But I'm sure there's ways in which it'll get there, because with just the same thing where like pattern recognizes, and that's what AI can do. So
For sure. Yeah, I think from your industry, it can only do good things. I doubt it's ever gonna kick you out of your job, but yeah.
I think if we were to be kicked out of it, it would be a reflection of our inability to grow, really,
and
and to
adapt.
not be able to use it as a tool. And that's just what history keeps doing over and over. Someone who can adapt to technology, he can, leverage it. I don't know. Have you?
No, I've only used it to make a picture of a Jack Russell eating a jaffle. That's all, and I'm basically still.
I was searching for like the example, and you just came out with it. Like, did you just use it to make an image?
And it was still shit house. Like, that's not a Jack Russell.
Yeah. You should get a Jack
And it's not
Russell.
eating it.
A Jack Russell eating a jaffle, freestyling El Cap.
Yeah. Can't do it. Can't do it. No, I don't use it. I'm still using carrier pigeons.
That's they're really reliable. Yeah. No, to be honest, it's pretty handy for like formatting even emails and things like that as well. Like I've just been like, make this a little warmer, because I'm always like pretty blunt in how I write things, and I'm like, it needs to fluff a little more.
I'm full fluff.
Yay.
Lots of smileys.
Yeah. After every word.
All right. Sweet. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for the chat. It was fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Worry.
Cool. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Here's the part where I ask all that cringy shit that no one wants to hear. But if you could do the whole like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to a mate, that'd go a long way. PayPal me $1 million if you want, just so I can bring you some more episodes much faster. That would be really appreciated. Thank you.